welcome to Men's Health Month here on WMAR with Skylar Henry and Christian Schaefer. I'm player coach Jamie Costello. Christian?
Yeah, June is Men's Health Month, and we're highlighting some of the issues that are really important. We're all very busy. We don't always have time to think about our health, but we should, especially this month.
What better way than to start with fitness? You know, a lot of guys haven't been in the gym in a long time, and I was curious to talk to my trainer about what it would take for men to get right when it comes to working out.
Just about every day, you can find Courtney Lee running, jumping, and lifting his clients to reach their greatest fitness potential.
The first thing I always tell people is that I want to motivate you first. I want to make you fall in love with just the gym and make you fall in love with fitness.
Courtney is behind the growing popular brand Get Right Fitness. His tutorials, workouts, and classes have changed bodies for years, including mine. But for some people, getting into the gym isn't always the easiest. That's why Courtney says you can get right in your own home with simple workouts with affordable equipment.
We're going to start with jumping jacks. And one of my favorite workouts because it gets the heart rate up high, gets the body moving. It's like a full body workout.
How important is it just to get that heart rate going instead of just coming into the gym and start lifting weights?
Well, cardio is so important for the heart. Like I said, we're doing this for people that's 35 to 60 years old. We got to warm our car. We got to warm our bodies up. So it's just important. Even if you do 15 minutes before you start your workout.
We'll show them just one and
Then it's on to workout number 2.
Today, Skylar's going to demonstrate a great way to do a burpee. And especially if you're a person that's coming into it, you're just beginning in the gym, this is a great way to build your strength and build your confidence to be able to do a regular burpee.
Courtney says it's not only important to pay attention to what you're doing in the gym, but in the kitchen.
What are some foods that you think get the job done really quick? I know we talk all the time about grilled chicken.
Egg whites, my favorite. Asparagus, salmon, a healthy fat. That's great to eat. Open your legs up.
Workout number 3 is called an inchworm.
Bend over, touch the floor. Now I want you to walk out with your hands. Walk all the way out, as far as you can go. Stop right there. All right. And if you can, give me one slight push-up, best push-up you can, and come back up with your hands. Now, if you can't do the push-up, don't worry about the push-up.
Then a standing crunch.
He's going to place one elbow behind his head, gently touch it. And he's going to take this foot and try his best to take it to his knee, to his elbow. Now, if you feel like you can do 3 sets of these, then go for it. 3 sets of 10.
Finally, one of my personal favorites, chest press. You can do these on a bench or on the floor.
You see we have the mat. We have a set of weighted 25 dumbbells. And what we're going to do is target the chest. Because fellas, who don't want to look good in those shirts? He's bringing the weight in close together. And that's contracting the chest.
And if you're feeling ambitious, Courtney says burn out with push-ups. For me, he picked a different kind.
And what we're going to do is do some unbalanced push-ups. Now, this is great for, once again, to build that chest and arm workout. Fight for it. I think he's gassed.
I'm done.
I think he's gassed. That was a great workout, man.
And where can people go if they want to look for any of your information?
GetRightFitness.com, or you can go subscribe to my YouTube page, which is GetRightFitnessLife.com.
And Courtney says there's no perfect time to get in the gym. He just wants you to get in there and get active.
And a lot of good common sense tips in that story.
And what if you have Parkinson's? Where should you go? To the Y, of course.
When I first came here, I was punching like this, and now I make jokes about how I'm causing these pads that we punch had burst into flames. Yeah, that's how it didn't really burst into flames, obviously, but a little smoke maybe.
5, 6, 4, 3. Rob Ross was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and immediately thought the worst.
I thought it was something like cancer and that it was something that was going to kill me in the next, day or so.
But now, Rob comes to the YMCA here in Towson twice a week to take his rock-steady boxing class, and he loves it.
All the exercises are geared towards pushing back the tide of Parkinson's disease. And it's a revelation because someone asked me the other day, do you think you're at 100%? You know, because I was telling him how great this class was. And I said, no, I'm at 110%. I feel better now, and I'm more limber now than before I got Parkinson's.
It's an hour and 15-minute class. They start with a warm-up to make sure everyone's safe as they warm up their muscles, and then the participants split into groups for boxing
and using those bicep muscles
and strength training, working together to battle all parts of the disease.
I think the biggest misconception when it comes to Parkinson's disease is that it is purely a motor or a movement problem. Parkinson's disease, unfortunately, is much more than that. It involves the higher cognitive functions like planning, multitasking. Very often it involves anxiety and depression, which often can come to dominate and be more of a limitation to a patient's quality of life than the actual movement problems.
As a huge supporter of rock-steady boxing, he has now recommended it to all of his Parkinson's patients.
If I had to estimate, I probably have at least 40 patients of mine enrolled in different rock-steady boxing classes, depending on where they live. Every single patient so far has reported positive outcomes.
Julie Lincoln instructs the class and has seen firsthand just how this class has benefited those with Parkinson's.
They do. I mean, they come sometimes reluctantly, but after a couple of classes, they really see the benefits, and it really does happen that quickly. It's not months and months of investment to get return. A couple classes in, they're already starting to see why it's important, so they find joy in it, you know, and these guys are fighters. They're not sitting back and letting the disease take over. They're fighting for their lifestyle, for their quality of life, so that's why they're here. So they're in a good mood because they know they're in control.
As far as Rob's concerned,
he's cognitive, he's more alert, he's able to hit harder, much harder than he was. He's able to sustain the activity much longer than he was prior. So that transfers to him outdoors, doing activities and so forth too, and having that endurance.
This just goes to show you that new therapies are working.
Good to see. Great story. Well, one of the most sensitive spots on every man's body is also one of the most common spots for young men to get cancer. And let's face it, it sounds scary. You don't want to see the words testicular and cancer in the same sentence. But as it turns out, there is a vast difference between the reality of testicular cancer and those concerns.
It's a disease of young men, typically.
In fact, the testicular cancer patients seen by oncologist Philip Nevat-Puman of the Kaufman Cancer Center at University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Health Center are usually between the ages of 15 and 35.
The reproductive cells, the germ cells that we call them, the ones that produce the sperm and reproductive cells, they're turning over and multiplying most when you're young. It's when you're most fertile, and that's often when damage can occur, and then you can get a mutation which causes cancer.
Patients first notice a mass on one testicle. Usually they're smooth. There can be swelling, but not always.
Some people will feel like a hard bump, and that's the most common presentation, is something that feels like a lump that's growing.
Treatment involves the surgical removal of the testicle where the cancer is discovered. That's the bad news. The good news, the cure rate is now 95%, a massive increase just over the past few decades.
If it's early stage, like stage 1, where it's just in the testicle and it hasn't spread anywhere, sometimes it's cured with surgery alone.
Even if testicular cancer has spread, the prognosis can still be positive, both in terms of recovery.
The famous cyclist Lance Armstrong had it, and he had had it spread in multiple areas of his body, including his brain. His was still curable.
And in terms of sexual function.
Most patients who have testicular cancer are able to have a normal reproductive life.
So yeah, the idea, especially if you're younger guys, is to check yourself, talk to your doctor if you have any concerns. You guys ready to start playing again?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go. Wait, where's he going?
I don't know.
We'll find out where Jamie went when we come back. You're watching Men's Health Matters on WMAR.
There he is.
Oh, man.
I told you something smelled good. It's not you two.
Not at all.
It's Famous Dave's. We're going to find out how to eat healthy in just a second.
Nice.
All right, while we're waiting on the food, I talked to a group of guys about stress and health and mental health and also about anger as well. You know, that conversation's pretty taboo when it comes to guys. Well, this group says otherwise. If we can go around the room, what is being a man from 29 to 63? What is stress?
Stress is necessary. Stress is something that is not to be avoided. Stress is a messenger. It's trying to send us a signal that something needs to be done. Stress is not necessarily a problem unless it overwhelms us.
You know, for many of us, I believe it starts when we adolescence, right? Trying to find yourself, not being able to, you know, come into your identity.
You talked about the problems that you were facing where you felt like, okay, something's got to give. What are some of those problems that you guys think come up as men, right? When we talk about the pressures that we face.
I needed more help. I looked at my life and I looked at my family. And I have a son. I have a young son. And his being is the reason that brought me here. Wanting to better myself and look at myself internally so I can be better for my son, be better for myself, be better for my family.
That's part of the frustration, not being able to be vulnerable, not being able to, you know, let your guard down, you know, not being able to withstand the pressures and come somewhere where you can let it down and see men, you know, that of the same, you know, hue as you, that walk in the same light as you, that walk in the same footsteps as you.
What are you all teaching? What are the bullet points, maybe even the practices that you guys are using in your everyday lives that reduce anger, reduce stress, reduce pressures?
Most brothers get caught up in either I'm angry, or I'm happy. So one of the things that we really teach is how to embrace the full range of emotions.
You got to have self-love for self. If you don't have self-love for who you are, how can you love anybody else? But see, when this world tells you that you are nobody, when you're lower than anything else, that's how you feel. That's how you end up certain places. You know what I'm saying? So that love for self is very important, you know.
Just tell yourself, stop having these thoughts that aren't going to lead you to anywhere. We utilize mindfulness meditation. We utilize and we create a anger management plan that a person go through a cycle. They know how to take a time out.
So what do you say to that person who will look at this and they say, oh, that's amazing that these guys are in here, they're talking about their feelings, talking about their emotions, they want to better themselves. But I ain't got time for that. What do you say to that person?
This thing is deep. The trauma runs deep. The trauma's intergenerational. It affects your body.
But when you can find that peace and you can find a way to navigate those waters, you become powerful. You become aware.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and these guys say while it may be tough at first, Jamie, Christian, they say it's important conversation to have.
That is an important story. And here's another one. You know, as guys, sometimes we are faced with near impossible odds. We're going to introduce you to Greg Webb, who is fighting MS with everything he's got.
When I was 38, I played adult league baseball. When I would walk on the field, I felt a little stressful, just the anxiety of a game about to start. And I started experiencing, the best way I describe it is a 2 or 3 beer buzz. I just wrote it off to, hey, you're turning 40, maybe this is just getting older.
Greg is pretty tough. I mean, I think he's probably got one of the highest pain tolerances of anyone I have ever known, so he doesn't complain about anything ever. So the fact that he was talking about not feeling right, that's a huge thing for him.
Went to my general practitioner. He recommended an MRI, and the MRI showed lesions on the brain and the spine.
Anybody that knows Greg knows that he never quits, he never complains, he doesn't let the disease dictate his life. But as time goes on, and it's been hard watching the progression of the disease, because even though he still has that mindset, it's just taking things away from him physically, and he's a physical guy.
I love the outdoors, so I've had to adjust my activities outdoor. I love doing yard work, and it's anything that used to take me an hour takes me 4 hours to do it now. It's just adjustments in scheduling. Now I fish because it's not quite as active.
I can't imagine being in the situation myself that he deals with every day. I look at him, he's the strongest person I know. I just admire how he keeps going. We decided in 2011 that he would step out of the workforce, and we would just continue to lean into my career, and he would stay home with the kids.
The older they get, they've developed a sense of empathy that I think is above their years.
Yeah, they're very connected into their dad. And it's gradual because we have a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Yeah, they don't cut me any slack because I have MS.
No. But they do watch differently. They look at times where they need to help.
I mean, I go to the gym 3-4 times a week and at least twice a week. People say that it's inspirational and quitting is not an option.
I do hope that people can hear his story. I do hope that people can get hope for the way you can look at it. And clearly there's pain and it's hard, and some days it's harder than others, but he's doing it, and it's amazing.
And now we eat with Famous Dave's. They were here last year and they have come back again. We love you, but we want to be healthy. And can we be healthy eating ribs and chicken and salmon?
Absolutely, we can. First of all, we want to make sure that we're eating everything in moderation, right? Again, guys, we want to keep our primal instincts. We want our meat, right? It's just what we do to our meat, okay? We can either make it with just rubs on it, makes it a little healthier. We want to mix in our vegetables.
What are you mixing in here?
I've got some asparagus, I've got some grilled zucchini, grilled squash, red onions, mushrooms, got some red peppers.
So this takes the place of our French fries.
Absolutely, absolutely. A little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
But that's it, leave it away. Corn on the cob, we putting anything on that?
Again, we're from Maryland, so we're gonna go with Old Bay, right?
Yeah, right.
But if you have a different kind of seasoning that you like, go ahead and use that.
And of course, everybody's in the salmon craze because salmon's good for everything.
Absolutely it is. In our restaurants, we use the cedar plank salmon. We go ahead and coat that with a barbecue pineapple glaze. Absolutely wonderful. Salmon's high in protein, very light fare. So it's pretty good.
When you're cooking it on the grill, how do you know it's done?
Well, they tell you about an inch per minute. So 3 to 4 minutes per. You turn it. Salmon should get to about an internal temperature of 145 degrees.
Okay, so what are we slapping on with what kind of stuff is this?
This is our award-winning rich and sassy barbecue sauce. This is how we got started. Okay. This is what made our name, our reputation. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and check that.
And how about the chicken? We forgot the chicken because everybody knows chicken's good for you.
It's our roasted chicken. Go ahead and get that, grill it up. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with adding some barbecue sauce. In moderation.
All right, great job, man. You love grilling, though, don't you?
I do love grilling.
Every day you do it, though. Every day. Way to go. Famous Dave's with us here on Men's Health Month. We'll be back with more here on WMAR 2 News. Great job, Rob. Way to go.
Nice job grilling, Jamie. This looks amazing. But before we enjoy it, I want to talk to you about the Minimally Invasive Vascular Center. They're our sponsor for Men's Health Month, and they've been around 12 years, saved more than 30,000 lives or limbs, and they want you to know how important your vascular health is and how easy it is to treat.
Well, I like results. I found by being in the hospital, a lot of that was being lost.
We are really dedicated to our patients. So when you come here, we walk you through everything. We market through education, so you'll be educated. There's no more going to the doctor and saying, I don't know what they did to me. I don't know what I have. Or the doctor didn't even touch me.
James Slaughter has been a patient at MVIC for about a year, and he says he's gained a second family.
I saw people who care. And I think that's an important part of therapy. Going to an atmosphere that's friendly and warm.
Mr. Slaughter is a great patient. You don't get to be 92 years old for nothing. When he came in to see us, we diagnosed him with some PAD, some circulation issues. Well, he's very compliant as a patient. I'm pretty sure he's going to live a long time and a quality of life without any leg pain.
In his 9th decade, Mr. Slaughter has some advice for all of the men watching.
Don't be timid. If the suspect is something is wrong, get it checked.
The message for men, because they seem to be a little more scarier than women for some reason, is to come into the, your doctor's office, come into MIVC, get checked out. One really important thing is, even though we are a surgery center, most of the time we are taking care of the problem without having to do surgery. Men often wait until things fall off for some reason, unless they fortunate enough to be married. Their wife will drag them in, but they have nothing to be really worried about.
While many doctor's office waiting rooms are about 80% filled with women and just 20% men, that is not the case at MVIC.
Here it's a little bit about the opposite, and we have a huge success rate in taking care of erectile dysfunction for men, more than 95%. We see a lot of men with varicose veins and swelling of their legs because of the jobs they do, whether it's someone who's a teacher, a construction worker, or a barber, just standing for long periods of time. You're fighting gravity, the valves give way, you develop swelling in the lower legs. We have a procedure that can take care of that in 20 minutes, so again, nothing to be afraid of.
For more information about the minimally invasive Vascular Center, just check the website, WMAR2news.com.
A lot of good information there. All right, when we come back, we're finally digging into this famous Dave's meal. We're going to talk a little bit more men's health.
Cheers to all the men in your health.
Cheers.
Yeah, stay well.